Hello, welcome to Spy Money. We are going to discuss power indicator and cloud indicator as a filter. So cloud is our filter and power is our entry. So let's just go back to say this morning. Anytime this morning would have worked. So the only thing we're looking at overall is we're looking at green on the cloud. You're only going to take longs. That's all you're going to do. If you see red, you're going to take some shorts. But if you see green, it is going to be longs only. Okay? So let's go ahead and take this down to, we'll take it down to London. A lot of people trade London in here, including me. So London starts right here. So if you look at the cloud, that is your filter saying that you should only be taking longs. None of these reds should be entered. So if we go ahead and do this, and this is all you do, this is how simple this is, guys. It is the simplest strategy you'll ever use in your life. It's almost idiot proof. I mean, it's hard to mess this up. So your cloud is your trend, and since it's green, it says long only. When we get a long signal here, which we have a green background, let me make this brighter so y'all can see it even more. So we're going to do 40. I think that's enough. Yeah. So we have a green background. So if we have a green background and we have a green cloud, we go long. So we put our entry in here. And right there, you could have made $125. Right here, you could have made $112.50. Right here, you could have made $375. This right here, you should have been done. Let's just say you want to go for $100. There's 1, 2, 3. You got $500 of trade. You're done. That's 50% goal. Right here is another $350. Do we take this red one? Anybody? Anybody want to answer? Anybody want to speak up? Should we take this red short right here? Come on, someone answer me. Exactly, Maverick. Hey, you're one of the smartest guys in here. Anybody can fly a helicopter has got to be halfway smart. If a helicopter pilot can tell you don't go down, that's pretty good because he's looking out down here and he sees all these trees in this cloud. It's cloudy. Well, let's say it this way. It's so cloudy that he can't see to go down. So with this big old cloud right here that's green, he can't see the ground, so there's no way he is going to go down. Our heli guy is going to stay up in the air and just wait, and then whenever we get some more wind going up, he's going to take it. This one right here, let's see, entry clarification. Enter on the first candle when you think it's about to close. No, I said when it turns green. When the background turns green, then that's when you do it. Has nothing to do with the bar. It's the background. If the background turns green, enter. That's it. You're trying to beat the system. You could exit on red. I prefer exit on, go back and look at your strategies and see what the average price that you usually get, or you could just do the candle, chase candles. You could do the cloud. Yeah, if you want to wait till the cloud changes, you can do that, but it's going to take a long time for this cloud to change. You can even throw another indicator on there for an exit. You could put Man-O-War on there. You could, I mean, there's a lot of things you could put on there. You could put, you could use the Man-O-War entry if you wanted. So let's go in here. Actually, before we do it, we're getting sidetracked. So right here is an entry, okay? You entry on the color background. I don't care about the candle. It's color background. You do not enter a short here because we have a green cloud. If we have a green cloud, there's no shorts. Okay? This one right here, we would enter and lose money. Yeah, you're going to lose money sometimes. You're going to enter and make money right here. Enter, and it depends on what you do. You're probably greedy and wouldn't take profit, but when you start seeing this stacking, you probably get out for, a little loss or break even. This one right here, made money. This one right here, you lost money. This one right here, you made money. And if you chase the candles, you would have stopped out right there for 300. You're done for the day on this one trade. 250 is your thing, your goal. You could add 2 man of wars for knowing chop, but we're going to talk about the easiest strategy that you can do. When we start throwing in more indicators, we make this simple strategy hard. Now, who can't do green to green? Who can't do that? Anybody in here? Come on, talk to me. Who is it that is not smart enough to know a green background and a green cloud is a long? Anybody in here not understand that? Green is green. That's money. Green's money. Green. That's all it is. So let's keep on going. Let's go ahead and go to here. So I took off most of the, yeah. This right here it's simple. Somebody talking about can't make money. Why can't you make money on this? This has got to be the simplest strategy ever. The only way that you cannot make money on this is you're a one greedy person. You're greedy. The only thing you're trying to do is make 50% of your trade. If you're trading one ES contract, you want to make $250 a day and done. You're going to do that on basically one trade. Go live life. If you need more than $250, then trade 2 contracts and go for 500, or 3 for 750, or 10 for 5,000. Or actually 10 for 2,500 rather. Adjust your contracts to what you need to make. Right there. Right here. No trade because it's green cloud. Look at this one. Look at this one here. How can you not make money with this? Would you take this trade here? No, it's just not good. Okay, so now let's go ahead and show some chop. Okay, we have chop in here. Would you take this trade right here? Yes. $75. You probably would have broke even because you're so used to making $300-400. But this is the part that I want to show you. See how these things come down to the cloud, or just above the cloud, or just inside it? Those are all good. When you come down and almost break through the cloud, you're down on this bottom, you're probably at the end of your time. It's probably getting ready to reverse. And this is what I wanted to explain about the cloud. The cloud works great, but it's not really an entry tool because you'll get stopped out on the first entry. So let's just take this all the way back. Let's go back to the green. Right here, this one turned green right here. So yes, you would have made money right there and been done. But look at this one here. You would have actually entered about right here, and your short would have been a $200 draw. So you can't use cloud as your entry. You can only use cloud as your filter to know what the trend is. And that's all you can do. Because right here, you would not have entered back here because it's green. You would not have entered down here because it didn't reverse green to go back to red. It reversed green here, and then when this come down and closed here, that would be your entry to go short there. And then this one here would have been not a great trade. And since you never broke this, you're in chop. So guess what you do? You come in here and you draw a chop zone right here. You never broke out until this one broke out. It pulled back, and when this thing entered right here, there is your next trade. So your next trade was right here. You never entered any here. You got this one right here that was a bad trade, and you drew a chop zone, and your cloud's kind of going sideways. It's not really doing anything. All of this is just going through here. Yeah, would I have entered this trade here? I don't know, because it depends on where the level is. I don't have levels turned on. So if there was a level here, I would not have entered anyway. So this one right here, the cloud is green. Well, actually, you're right. Yeah, it's not green right there. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna show you. And this is where it's important, where you got to know how the cloud works. See how this thing went up, then it pulled back down to the cloud, and then started coming back up? That tells me that I'm entering that trade because we're above the cloud. This is a perfect example of why you would have entered here. When this broke over top of the cloud, you've got a lot of space here. We pulled right down to it, maybe not in it, but down to it. This is getting thin. And then this one right here, we have a power long. I would take this trade because this is a perfect two leg. Now, if we had come up to here and then come down and then turn green right here, no, because we're still below the cloud. We're below the cloud. If we're below this cloud, I'm not looking at any longs. None. But when we broke above it and then pulled back down to it and then started coming up and we had a power long, yes, sir. And when we pulled back down, and we would enter right here as well. We pulled down, we would enter right here as well. Enter, pull down. But when we pull down below the cloud, I'm not really interested in going long anymore. I would rather miss this long here. If it run up to here, I'd rather miss this long than take a chance on making money, even though you may or may not have got stopped out right here. But I'm not interested in doing this because I see that this cloud is starting to what? Turn down. When this cloud is turning down, we're not interested. We're just not interested. We want to see this cloud continually going up, and the wider this cloud is, the happier we are. When it starts getting skinny again, we're not happy anymore because we know that something's happening. So look at this right here. See how this is skinny? At the very beginning, it's got to be skinny. But look how this started widening out. The wider it got, the happier we were. And then when this thing come back down into here, that told us possible reversal. We really don't want to be trading inside this cloud. We want to be trading outside this cloud. But when it's inside the cloud, we don't want it. And then as this thing come up, and then it pull back, would we want to enter here? That one right there is kind of risky, but we made a higher low. It was a good trade, but we made a higher low. But we're still a lower high. So for me, this one would not be a trade I would want. Well, we're not going to talk about adding more indicators. You can do that on your own. We're just talking about a simple strategy. The more indicators you add is the more thought process you have to have. All you need are these two indicators, the cloud and the power. That's all you need. Now, if you want to make the strategy harder, add 100 indicators to it. And if this is this and this is that and that and that and that, by the time you read all that stuff, the trade's already gone. This one, if it's green and this is green, you go unless it is down below the cloud. What on this one right here, when this thing broke out and then come down and then it broke out and pulled down, I would be looking for this one here to go in long. And the reason I'd be looking for this one is because we kept on making what? Higher lows. And this one right here, we ended up making a higher high on that one. So when that happened, that would tell me I want to go in there. This is how you trade the cloud on any strategy. And this is how you trade the cloud with the power strategy. This is the simplest um, strategy that you can do. Simplest one. Does everybody understand this strategy? This right here is where people get messed up. I want nothing but all of you all to make millions a year. That's all I want. I want you making so much freaking money, it's not funny. Now let's go back here. Now we talked about this down here of why we didn't want to enter here. This is how you know when chop is coming. When you drop down into this cloud or below the cloud, you know chop is going to be there. Okay? So what happened here? We pulled down all the way to the bottom. Would we want to enter right here? Would we want to enter this right here? Not really. Look at this big old short that we had. Now, let's go ahead and take it one step further and let's draw the battle zone. Let's find out where we are. Here's the battle zone. See how we're below the battle zone? Remember earlier when I told you that when we start coming down below the battle zone, that it's not good to trade? But if we come down to it right here, like this one, and then it bounces back, if we've got a green signal on the power right here, I would have entered that trade. But see how we come down to it? We went up and then we come back down. The sweet scalper would have got you in this trade right here. The sweet scalper would have. And possibly, and see, the man of war wouldn't have. But sweet scalper would have got you in this trade right here. And then you would have lost. And then you would have thought, well, I'm going to go short. But if you went short, then you got into this battle of what should I do? So here's how you handle this. When you come all the way back down to the bottom of this or outside of it, you don't trade. This one right here, you could have made some money, but you don't trade. And then when this started just staying right in here, at this point, you would want to go ahead and draw your chop zone from this spot here to this one here. So your chop zone is going to be your last leg. And your last leg is this right here. This come down, it pulled back, it made a new bar going higher, and then come down and say, here's your last leg. So right here is your chop zone. Right? This right here is your chop zone. You have to wait for what? A breakout. Right here is the breakout. See that space that you have right there? The space between this right here and this right here. Right in here, that equates to a breakout. Now, normally, when this pulled back to it and then went here, we would have entered this trade here. But see, the power indicator changed here. So we have to wait on another power signal. So this comes back down and comes in. Would you enter a trade right here? Who would have entered a trade there and who would not have? This one right here. Would you or would you not have entered a trade? Okay, Maverick, I don't know means you won't lose money. That's a good answer, actually. So ESP would have entered. Spy Food, no. This one right here. Anybody else? We got more people in here than this. It's not a question, it's a yes or no. I would enter that trade because we had this space, we broke out, we pulled back, we went up, we come back into it. We're waiting on the next power signal, which would be right here. And you could have got your points out of there. This right here was the key. This right here. This right here is why we would have entered right here. This right here is the breakout, and our next signal is right here. So would you enter a trade right here? I would, because we had a proper pullback. We pulled back into the cloud. We pulled back about halfway of this leg. So yeah, I would enter. And you may or may not have made money here. I mean, more than likely you probably would have broke even because we started stacking. When we start making candles side by side, we don't trade, right? We do not trade right here. We just get out. Small loss, small profit, or break even. That's all we do. That's all we do, right? Okay, so then when we come through here, if we don't make any money here, what is it we do? If we lose on a trade, what do? We can see what's going on here, right? We can see that if we have a losing trade on something that is supposed to be a good trade, we draw the chop zone. Now, where would your chop zone be? That's the next thing. Let me do this here and make this where I can not keep moving that screen. There we go. Where is our chop zone going to be? If we lose this trade right here or break even, where would we want to put the chop zone? Don't tell me numbers. Tell me where. What if you lose on a trade, where does the chop zone go? It's the same on every single trade from the leg before. Thank you. So if we do the leg before, if we lose on this trade, right, this one right here, is where we went in, we go from right here to right there and over. So do we have any breakout here? No. There's no space between the chop zone and the bar. There's no breakout there. We don't get a breakout until this one right here. Okay? So would we take this short right here? No. Anybody say yes? Can I get a yes? You guys are so much of a minion. Maverick is correct. I just wanted you all to say yes and see if you would. Maverick's right. It's a green cloud. We don't take shorts on green clouds. We only take shorts on red clouds. I fooled you guys. Not Maverick. Maverick is a helicopter pilot. He's smart. You know what? In order to fly an airplane, which I have, an airplane or a helicopter or something like that, you have rules you got to follow. And if you don't follow those rules, you're going to die. So Maverick is trained to follow rules. Now, in trading, if you don't follow rules, you know what you're going to do? One of two things. You're going to blow your funded account or you're going to lose your hind end on a live account. You got to follow rules. This is a simple strategy, guys. Green, green, you go long. Red, red, you go short. That's it. Two rules. And the third rule is this one right here. We already know where the trades are here. We'd take every one of these green trades, right? Of course. Now, let me ask you this. If you entered right here, oops, if you entered this one right here, and this is kind of meandered around right here, what would you have done? Would you have kept the long, or would you have drawn a chop zone? Now, we know it's a winner, but what would you have done? Chop zone's correct. No matter what, if you have a losing trade, you draw a chop zone. Right there is where I would go, and I would go to right here. So really your next trade would be right here. Now, if I was trading this myself, and this pushed up, and then it pulled back, and then went green here, I would put my entry right here to run up, and my stop would be at the bottom of this bar right here. Actually, it'd be about one tick below it. And the reason I would have is this, and this is outside of this, but see how this is going up? This tells me this is a bull flag. Here's your pole, here's your flag, and it's running. That's outside of this strategy. But the real strategy would be to draw the chop zone, wait on the breakout, which is this bar right here, and then when you go up, you get a red, and then you get a green, and then you go long. The real strategy would be right here, although I would have taken this. But green, green, you go long, red, red, you go short, until something happens. One is you lose a trade, which this one right here would be, you know, maybe not a full loss. That might have been break even, but if you don't get your full target, that's called a loss. Even if you made money, if you don't get your full target, that's a loss. And that's when you draw your chop zone. So in this case, your chop zone will be at the top right here and be at the bottom right here. Because if you entered here and you don't get your full target and you never made another higher high, see this right here? Oops. See how this did not break this high? That tells me it's coming down. So I would take a short here, right? Is that what you do? Because we made this lower high and we've got a red background, so we would enter a short right here, right? Come on, talk to me. Everybody agree with me? No. Why wouldn't you take a short here? Green cloud, exactly. Hey, you guys might fly a helicopter before it's over. Y'all rule followers now. So you've got a green cloud. So if you have a green cloud, you do not take any shorts. Just don't do it. Yes, you're going to miss a lot of trades and you're going to be kicking yourself and you're going to be in Discord saying, oh man, I knew I should have taken that short. I knew it was going to do it. But you know what? 80% of the time that you take this short, you're going to fail. You're going to lose money. 80% of the time. Just don't do it. This is a patience trading game. And you know what? The power bot will do exactly what we're talking about, except in the clouds. You could even set up the chop filter if you want. You could do in the chop filter, let's see, if we go in here, I'll show you in the settings where it would be. So if you go down here to the chop and you turn this on to chop zone, and oops. And then what you want is the bar space outside the chop zone. The space is the key word. You need a space between the chop zone and the bar. And then this one here, you want to trade one. You only need one losing trade for it to draw that chop zone. And then having it set this way will trade exactly what we're talking about all through here except for this cloud. Now when we come down here, we want to put cloud filter and we want to turn it on. Okay? So you want to turn your cloud filter on. At the top, you're going to pick how many quantity you want. And you're going to have a general stop. If you're going to trade what we're trading right now, you can do this one or two ways. You can do a trail stop, and then you can do a tick trail, and then you could do a fixed initial of 6, and then you could do a profit trigger. I'd probably do a 6 in order to get it going. That way it has to go up 6 ticks before it will engage to start trailing. And at that point, it will trail 6 ticks if you put right here. So if you put, oh, we're not going to do that. I'm not doing that. We're going to do a 5. 6, 5, 6. We're not doing 6, 6, 6. So we're going to do a 6, a 5, and a 6. Now you can put whatever you want there, but I'm not doing those numbers. So if we put 6, 5, 6, this is going to make it trail 6 ticks all the way. So if you get this big old burst of volume like this, and it goes real fast, that tick trail would just chase it all the way down, and it would have stopped out right here. Right here is where it would have stopped out. But this is where you'd want to be. Your profit targets, you could I always like to have a profit target on there just so that I can move it and put it to somewhere I'd want. But if you put it on a 30 or something like that for just to get it up out of the way, that you could do that. Now, if you just want to take, say, 8 ticks on every trade and just take $100 and be done, then you set this for 8. That's all you would do. Okay, so the way that trail stop would have worked, let's say that this was a short and it hopped in. So initially, if it entered, say, right here, then that's a bad example. Let's say right here, because it did enter going up. So you would have entered right here. Your stop would have been right here. And then as this thing goes up, you would have come right up to here. You may or may not have been stopped out there. If not, you would have been stopped out right here. So it depends on what would have done there. You definitely would have been stopped out here. So on this one, your entry would be here, your stop would be there's 162.50 compared to trying to take $100. And it would have been automated. Now let's just say that you had a level right here. Oops. Let's just say there was a level right here. If your profit target would have been here, I would have grabbed it and put it right there. So if this is say you entered the trade right here and your profit target went right here by default, I would have moved it right here. That way, if it keeps on going, I'm willing to take profit just before that level. That's why you always want to have a profit target on your chart, because if you have a level, you're better off just to not use the trail stop on it and you go ahead and put your profit target just before that level, because when it goes up there, it may go right on up, but 99 out of 100 times it will go right up to it just before it or just after it and then pull back. So you always it's just it's good for you to take profit before the institutions take profit. Yeah, ESP, yeah, I'm not doing those numbers. So let's go back to this right here. Would you enter this trade right here? Would you enter that one? You got green and green. Would you enter it? I tell you what, Maverick, they're coming after your job, buddy. Maverick has been with me for 3 years, over 3 years. About, I guess, close to 4 years. He took a break for a while. He come back. Right, you would not take this trade. You would not take this trade because you're below the cloud. Was it a good trade? Of course it was. But would you take it? No. Would you take this one right here? This one right here. Would you take this trade right here? If yes, tell me why. If no, tell me why. So you think so just because of green. You think so because of green. Interesting. Interesting that you say that. Anybody else? See, I'm changing something on my settings because I forgot how to do that. There we go. Now we can see all the names. Didn't see the trade, this one right here. So if we do it, this trade right here. Has a higher low above the cloud and green background. King Cone, you are brilliant. You hit man, you watch videos. He even brought this up. Battle zone. Come right into it. I can see it. It's just about halfway. So the battle zone is your key right there because you made a higher low and in the battle zone and at just touching the bottom of the cloud, not through it. We went through it, we come up, we come down, and then everything says go long. King Cone, you had every single answer. You like to study. Us Canadians are pretty smart. So when you come up, would you take this long up here? Would you take that long right there? We know it's a failure, but would you take it? How do you know it's chop? How do you know it's chop? So you think Wix made it chop? I'm going to go along with Maverick. It's just stacking through here. So you're better off just to not take it. It may be the best trade of the day, but that's fine. When you have all of this stacking in here, before the trade even goes, you probably would be a good idea just to go ahead and draw this chop zone. And we barely had a breakout here, but I don't even consider that a breakout. So I would still be considering this chop, even though we didn't have a full-fledged breakout, because we want to see like a half a bar space or more in here. We don't want to see right at the edge. See you, Skyfu. So this one right here, we kind of broke out. We went up. This is like a little pullback into it. And we come down. So we entered the short right here, right? All right, Tired. Thanks for joining in, buddy. No, because it's a green cloud. Red and green. What's that do? It makes purple's all I know, isn't it? Is it red and green, purple? I think no, it's blue and red. What's green and red? Orange, brown, like a cone, brown like a cone. So you have green here, so we don't take shorts, right? All through here, we don't. We're down below the cloud, right? So we don't even take these longs because we're down below this cloud, right? I need to program it into the bot. I'll do that probably next week. So do we take this short right here? Looks like we're breaking out. Do we go ahead and take this short? Nope, it's because we got green cloud. So when we start coming in here, we see this green right here. We don't take it because we're below the cloud. Would you take this short right here? See, Maverick, it's recorded. You can finish up the end of it later. Probably wait till the cloud is established. Well, that's probably a smart thing to do. You don't have to have the very first trade. You can let it go, pull back, and then take the next one. That's probably the smartest thing to do. I'm not smart. So what I would be doing is looking at this right here. We are making lower highs. So I would have taken this trade right here and probably stopped out for break even. So this one right here, I would not have made money on. I would have entered it. If someone was doing a $50 one, they would have got their money. So they would have made money there. But I'm not one to trade for 50 bucks. Not on like a normal trading because there's a lot more money on this strategy. So we get a green, we don't take it because it's red. We get another red right here. Do we take it? Oh, we forgot to draw the chop zone. So since we kind of lost money here, we would be looking for this one here down to this one here, and we draw it over. We didn't break out of the chop zone, but let's say we broke out of it. Would we still take this trade? We we do not take the trade. You forgot. We don't. If we go above the cloud, we can't take shorts. We were above the cloud, so we're not willing to take this right here. So then we come back up over to here. We're looking for the next short. This is green right here. Look at that big run. We enter right here, right? We enter the long right here, right? Because look at that. We got all kinds of money here we're going to make. No, right. Red cloud. Can't enter here. So we come back down. Now we got a green cloud. We go ahead and enter right here. Because look at that money we can make. We going to enter right here. No, you can't answer. You can't enter on a non-entry bar. Right here's the entry, but since it's red, we can't enter. We have to wait for what? It to turn red and green again. There's no entry in here. You missed it. You can't forget what's going on. Green, green, you enter. Green, red, you don't. Red, red, you do, unless it's above the cloud. If you have bars that are above this cloud and then comes down for a short, don't enter because you're probably going to get chopped up. All right, so do we enter right here? Right there. Do we enter that one? We going to enter here? Exactly. And we all lost money, didn't we? That's fine. So we lost money right there. Then we pull back down into here. Would you enter again right there? Would you enter right there? Your chop zone is right here. Me personally, I probably would have entered because we pushed up, we pulled back into it and come up. I would have entered and I'd have my stop tight. If it pushed down, fine, but I would have entered. Strategy, you probably shouldn't enter. You should enter right here. This is part of reading the market of what's going on. Since we went up, we pulled it back, we pushed up, we pulled back, made a higher low. I personally would have entered right here. I would have entered, but my stop would have been tight. And if I lost money right there, I would not enter again until we broke out of this chop zone. So right here would be the next one. Right here would be one. This one we would break even or so. Would you have entered again right here if you hadn't stopped out? Would you have entered again right there if you stopped out? If you stopped out right on this one here, which actually your stop would be right here. So you would not have stopped out. So this one right here, you know, with it going sideways and my stop's only $50, I would have just left my stop and hoped for the best. And then when this started pushing up, I mean, the difference between here and here is not much. So you're looking 62.50. So I would have held this. I would have held this right here and I would have ended up making my money. Would you enter right here? Yeah, it's a stop out, but you would have, that would have been an entry. At this point, you would come back in, draw your chop zone right here. You broke out of the chop zone, now your chop zone's gone. Would you enter right here? Would you enter on this one? But you pull back into the cloud. Remember, you're looking at it like this, right? This is how you're looking at it. I would enter it. I think it's a good trade. I mean, the cloud's going up. We pull back into the top of it. So I personally would have entered, even though we had a lower high here, but I still would have entered right there. And I would have lost money. Would you enter this one right here? It's a winner. No, because you come down below the cloud and your next signal you don't want. You want to wait for the pullback and then get into the next one, which would be this one right here. And then you have this one right here. And then you have this one right here. All of these are winners. This one right here, this one you probably would have got stopped out. Yeah, you would have got stopped out depending on how you did it. If I entered right here, I probably would have put it right here, so I would not have been stopped out. You know how I told you that just because you enter and your stop goes wherever, don't mean it stays there. I would have put my stop right there for 87.50. That's where mine would have been. And then I would have ended up making this trade. If you did stop out, maybe you got in again, or maybe you drew a chop zone. But me personally, when I enter something like this, my stop is usually going to be down below that leg. If we get down below that leg, then you're going to get stopped out, but it'll also allow you some movement in there. This one right here, you would have lost money on. This one right here, you would have made money on. This one lost money, and because it made this big lower low or lower high, I would not have entered right here. Well, I wouldn't have entered here anyway because it is 4 o'clock, closing bell. So I would not have entered here anyway. So this would not have been a loser for me. Now, this exact strategy will work on every single instrument there is. Now, let me show you what Mark has been doing. He's been doing the 10 SPY money bar, which I don't know how he's doing a 10 on this, but he is. I think you should be doing, I mean, this is 9 o'clock this morning. I think 10 is too much. If you did a 6, See, it opens what 8:15, I think it is. So all this through here, these are all been longs. Right here's the open. So this one, 130, 210. This has been a loser, and there would have been a winner. So this is kind of choppy in here. So I personally probably would have found me another instrument to trade because it's not moving very fast and it's just choppy. So I personally don't think I would have traded that one. If we go to NQ and if we put NQ on the 20 SPY mini bar this morning. So right here is NQ. And with the cloud, all this going in the cloud, I would not have been taking these trades because we're in the cloud. So what I would do is when we broke out of the cloud, come back to the cloud and then I would have went in here. And this one right here, I probably would have entered, but as soon as I stopped out, I would have been done and drew a chop zone, which would actually be right there. And then when this broke out here, I would not be taking any of these because we are just staying in the cloud. I have to wait for it to leave the cloud. It'll work on any instrument. You just have to change the time frame. CL is usually at 8 or a 10 SPY mini bar. Like if we go over to that, if we go to an 8, and if we think about 9 o'clock's when it opens, so you would have missed this big long, you would have missed this long, you wouldn't have had any shorts in here, so really your first trade after the open would be right here. 440, 380, you wouldn't have taken this because it's below. You would have taken this one here and you would have got stopped out on. Nothing in here, nothing, because you're above the cloud when it comes back. You would have missed this one. You would have got this one here, and you would have got this one here. This one right here, you would have lost money on, and at that point, you would have drawn chop zone. It broke out on this, so your next one would be right here, and then your next one would be right here, and your next one would be right there. It's the simplest strategy that you can do. There's only 3 things to look at. 1, green, green, or red, red. There's only one other thing that you want to look for. If you are red cloud and you're looking for red shorts, if you're up toward this top one, this top part of the cloud, or above the cloud, you don't want to take it. If you pull back to the cloud, like this here, and it punches right there, this is fine to take it. But if you go up to, or maybe a little above, like how this one did, this is telling me that it is trying to reverse. So if you get those kind of pullbacks, this is like buyer volume. And then they sold off a little bit and then they ramped it again. Any questions? Simplest strategy you'll ever use. You're welcome, Bay. Simplest strategy you'll ever use. If you can't make money doing this one, honestly, you're just it's going to be impossible for you to make on anything. I mean, you're going to have a losing trade, okay? And we're going to talk about losing trades on the next video, risk management, this next video. So, do we have any questions about the power indicator and using the cloud with it? Any questions on this so we can get to the next lesson? Count to 4, no questions. I'm going to end it. 1, 2, 3. How's that go? The Lenny and Squiggy show, Laverne and Shirley, Samil, Samaja, something like that. I can't remember. I loved that show when I was a kid. I had good shows back then. We're going to end this one.